You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
In alhamdulillah, wassalat wassalam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our Aqidah class. And this is the class in which we are studying from the book entitled Diluting Wala Wal Better, which is written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. And this is one of the best trilogies or the best series you'll ever come upon, in which our belief system as Muslims, it has been broken down in plain, simple English terms so that non-Arabic speaking people can understand, again, what our purpose is as Muslims, what we were created to do, and how to do it correctly. And alhamdulillah, we have embarked upon the third part of this book. The third part of this book, which addresses how Islam is not a religion or a way of life that dies out over time. Islam is never outdated. There's nothing that Allah hasn't told us of that will happen and how to handle ourselves in it. And he also even sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a mentor to us, teaching us how to handle ourselves in good times and in bad times. So Islam transcends all eras, all times. And this is something that I have to really reiterate with a lot of Muslims today in 2024, because unfortunately, there's a lot of different sets and groups of people professing to be Muslim, professing to be upon the straight path, when in reality they have deviated so far away from it that I don't even know what type of path they're on, subhanAllah, because every day we learn new things about these different groups. And remember, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said all sects and all groups will be in the hellfire. You know, the only Muslims that will not be in the hellfire are those of us who stick to the traditional Islam, who hold firm upon the traditional Islam. And what is the traditional Islam? That is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. That's what his companions were on, and the first four rightly guided leaders after him. So that's what's meant when we say the understanding of the companions. What type of understanding should we have about our belief system? What type of understanding should we have in regards to practicing this deen? We should have the exact understanding that those companions had in regards to all actions that we do. Because as Allah tells us in the Quran, they were the best of this nation. And no one will be closer in their understanding of this religion than they. So I want you guys to put aside what you've heard through the grapevine about Islam and embark upon this journey with me as we continue on understanding what the correct aqidah or what the correct belief system of the Muslim entails. And before I get into today's chapter, let me just ask a couple of questions. Who can tell me what is the meaning of that testimony of faith? As Muslim, we pledge a testimony of faith That's what brings us into Islam. Who can tell me the meaning of that testimony of faith that brings us into Islam? Anyone? Who can share with me the meaning of the testimony of faith? The testimony of faith is what brings us into Islam. Who can share its meaning? Come on, it's easy, guys. Just tell me in English what it means, because we have a lot of new shahadas here. So let's try to explain to them the meaning of the shahada. Anyone? Okay, if you guys don't volunteer, I'm going to go into the Zoom room and take some a call on you guys one by one. Who can tell me? And people on Facebook and YouTube, you can answer too. And by the way, I am logged in on Odyssey. So for the Muslims watching or listening on Odyssey, I am logged in on my laptop to see, to try to get acquainted with everyone. So whoever's in there, I think it's 3 people in there right now. Yes, just type whatever you want on the screen. Who can tell me what is the meaning of our testimony of faith? Every Muslim should know the meaning.
Whenever we're saying the testimony of faith, we're basically testifying that there's no God but Allah, and that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is his messenger, and we're also declaring that he's the only one, Allah is the only one worthy of being worshipped. And we also believe in everything that he told us of in regards to his books, angels, day of judgment, paradise and hell, and also his decree, the things he made lawful and unlawful, and also fulfilling the obligations he commanded, and also believing in all the prophets and messengers that he sent. And we're also pledging our allegiance to all the Muslims, the Prophet Muhammad, and allegiance to Allah as well.
What do you guys think of her answer? Okay, there's a couple of people that typed on social media. Sister Aya said it means that there is no God other than Allah, and the Prophet Muhammad is his slave and final messenger. That's incorrect. That's not the meaning of it. For the brother on Rumble, Odyssey, same thing. That's incorrect. If I were to ask the average Muslim what does the testimony of faith mean, they all type what Aya and the brother here on, I can't read your name because it's too little. The brother on Odyssey type. That's not what the testimony of faith means. We're not testifying that we believe that there's only one God and that it is Allah. First of all, whenever we say that, that's not what we're testifying to. We're testifying to that Allah is the only one worthy of worship. Remember, guys, the Arabs believed in Allah. They believed in Allah. They believed he was the creator of everything. But they did not believe that he was the only deity worthy of worship. So first of all, that's what the in Arabic, when we say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, we're not testifying that Allah is the only God. That's not what we're saying. No, we're testifying that Allah is the only deity worthy of worship. Okay? Because many people claim to believe in Allah, but most people don't believe that he's the only one worthy of worship. Even today, the Jews, the Christians, they say they believe in Allah too. They're just like the Arabs were. They believe in Allah, but they don't believe he's the only one worthy of worship. The Christians worship others alongside him. The Jews worship others alongside him. Okay, so we're testifying that Allah is the only deity worthy of worship, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger, and also what Sister Yasmin said. We're also testifying that we believe in everything that Allah commanded us to believe in. And also that pledge of allegiance. Why is it called a pledge of allegiance? None of you put that in your answers. You have to include what is the meaning of the Shahada. The Shahada is also testifying that our allegiance is to Allah, is to the Prophet Muhammad, is to the religion of Islam and the Muslims, the followers of this religion. That's the meaning. Yeah, I ask that question every now and then just to see if I get more answers that are correct. And I still, every time I ask y'all that question, I'll wait a couple of weeks and ask it. I only get one person. Today it was Yasmin. And just one person gives me the right answer. Most of you say the same crap that's been drilled in your mind all these years. That's incorrect. One of the things I was talking about yesterday, you know, one of the signs of the last hour, the Prophet ﷺ said we would divide into all these different sets and groups, and all of them will be in the hellfire. That's already happened. We got these 75 sets and groups. They're already here. And what I can see, most of the Muslims fall in that category of the Mu'tazilite. There's more Mu'tazilite Muslims on earth than anything, it seems. And the Mu'tazilite got so many different sets, but they're still Mu'tazilite. And I can look at even here, most of you are from Mu'tazilite backgrounds. I can tell by some of the things you say, some of the questions you ask, some of the things that you say you believe, how you answer my questions. Many of you are from Mu'tazilite roots. The Mu'tazilite are the Sufis, the Qadariya, all of that. They all them different those crazy sets. Okay, and I can see a lot of you come from that. Some of you don't believe in the Hadith. A lot of you, most of you have a hard time with the Qadr of Allah. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said, every nation of people has their pagans. The Jews got their people that claim to believe what they believe, but they were pagans. The Christians got their group of people that claim to believe what they believe, but they're pagans. He said, my nation is no different. There's a lot of people that claim to be Muslim, but they're not. They're pagans. They're unbelievers. He said, the unbelievers of my nation are those who do not accept the Qadr of Allah. And that's the problem with the Mu'tazilite. The Mu'tazilite is the largest group. And they got so many different branches. And that's one of the things. They do not accept the Qadr of Allah. They do not understand or accept that everything that happens comes from Allah. And that's why we have Muslims today doing all this protesting. They're protesting against the Qadr of Allah because they're in the Mu'tazilite group. The Mu'tazilite believes that we human beings, we create the evil. The Mu'tazilite, those are those speakers that y'all see on YouTube right now as I speak. We got some doing live lectures. They're doing lectures and they're talking about the Zionists and they're blaming everything that happens on Zionists. Those are Mu'tazilite because they really believe that. They believe that man creates evil. They do not believe that everything comes from Allah. They do not believe that Allah would send war upon us. They don't believe that Allah would send bad things. So that's why you see these famous brothers that y'all follow, that y'all think are scholars. They're Mu'tazilite. They tell you, oh, that's why their allegiance is just in one part of the world, that one part. because they really, and these brothers break down, they're crying because they really believe that man created this. The Zionists created it. They really believe that the Zionists are in control, that the Zionists are in power. They really believe that, guys. That's why you see all them famous brothers y'all think are scholars. And I keep telling y'all, you ain't gonna find no real scholar on social media. The real scholars are busy, man. They too busy trying to spread the truth and trying to calm it down. They ain't got time for social media. Y'all see, I can't even get Sheikh Morsi when I call him for, he's busy, man. Sheikh Morsi is busy. When I get him for the Q&A show, we lucky to get one answer out of him. I got to go. Busy. Okay? But these brothers y'all looking at, that's why they're sincere. They really think that the whole world is a conspiracy put together by the Zionists. They really believe that the Zionists are in control of everything. They're conspiring to destroy us. They really believe that the Zionists have the power to do it. So those famous speakers, and the person that called me about this is a couple of young brothers. I'm not mentioning name, but they know who I'm talking about because they asked me about one of these speakers in particular. I guess he put another lecture out or something, some short, and he's again acting stupid. But like I told him, that's why he really believes that. They're the group of the Mu'tazila. Most Muslims belong to that sect, that group. Most Muslims in America belong to the Mu'tazila sect. Most Muslims here in America are Mu'tazila. It's not that many people in America that follow the true Sunnah. We don't have that many traditional Muslims here. The traditional Muslims in America are looked upon as being terrorists. The traditional Muslims that are calling you to the true Islam, trying to get you guys to calm that down and think the way you should, we're looked upon as being extreme and radical and crazy and loud. What do y'all say? Oh, she's loud. That brother there, he's loud. We're not loud. We're the way Allah said to be. Because that's another one of the signs of the last hour. There'll only be a handful of true believers calling you to the truth. But the people will look at them as being people of falsehood. And they'll accept the people of falsehood as being the people of truth. So those brothers, they don't believe in the Carter. They don't believe that Allah is in control of everything that's happened. The Prophet Muhammad said that. And by the way, they existed during his time too. Who was Musaylama? Musaylama was a Mu'tazila. So they're not new. They've been around since the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Carterites, they were around since the time of them too. These groups are not new. You got the extreme radical left and the extreme radical right. You got the Carterites, you got the Mu'tazila. They've been around forever. Okay? They're just more. It's more of them now. So that's why those brothers are so, they don't understand that Allah is in control. That's why they're telling you protest, 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 boycott, 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 kill, crush, destroy. It's over. The world is over. The Zionists, they got us. Conspiracy, don't take the COVID booster. Conspiracy, don't take the flu shot. Conspiracy, y'all see that? They don't go to the doctor. Don't take medicine because they trying to kill us. These are the Mu'tazila. They do not accept the Qadr of Allah. They do not accept that Allah is in control. that nothing will happen unless Allah wills it. Everything good comes from Allah, and everything bad comes from him too. They don't believe that. Those are the pagans, the fire worshipers of this nation. The prophet said that those Mu'tazilai, they are the fire worshipers of my nation. That was Musaylama and all of them. So this ain't new. You people are, now that your eyes are becoming open to the truth, now that y'all are seeing these famous speakers for what they are, remember the hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said you can always tell who the true believers are when calamity strikes. When Allah sends punishment, the initial reaction that a person gives determines where their iman is. These brothers have been freaking out since Allah sent this war. And they're getting worse. They're going down and down and down and down. Now y'all see. They ain't no scholar. These brothers, they got issues. The people that remain firm in times of hardship. Like the law says in the Quran, the believers remain firm. The believers remain focused. The believers fall back upon La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah in times of hardship. The believers raise their hands. They don't protest against the decree of Allah. You ain't gonna find no, just like there's no instance in history where any of those companions protested against the decree of Allah. And they were in battle from the beginning to their death. You're not going to find no true believer on earth protesting either. Because the believers know everything is in the hands of Allah. And Allah sends the bad as a wake-up call, as a test for the true believers, as a warning to some, and a punishment to most. So the true believers obey Allah. They raise their hands and make dua. Because this is our power. We have that one, as Umar radiallahu anha said, the power that we have, that the unbelievers don't have, is this, dua. When the Prophet fought the battle of Badr, they weren't protesting against it. While they fought, he raised his hands. Oh, Allah, give us victory. Battle of Uhud, the same thing. Battle of the Trent, that's the same thing. Whenever anything afflicted the Muslims, Abu Bakr, when he was Caliph, Umar, Caliph, Uthman, Ali, even Muawiyah. The Muslims didn't protest against the qadr of Allah. They weren't stupid. They know why that war comes from Allah, and they know why Allah sends it, because Allah tells us why. So the companions did what Allah commands us to do in times like this. Call upon him and check yourself. Change the condition of yourself. Allah says he will never change the condition of a people until the people change the condition of themselves. And you look at these Mu'tazilai who are doing all that protesting. Most of the women ain't dressed properly. The men ain't dressed properly. Their behavior is not proper. Their actions are not proper. Do you think Allah is responding to any of that garbage? They all need to go home and change the condition of themselves. Like Allah says in the Quran, the believers recognize his signs. War is a sign. That's one of the signs of Allah. War is one of the signs of Allah, Muslims. As Allah says in the Quran, the true believer recognizes Allah's signs. And they do what they're supposed to do, like the people of Jonah did, like the companions did, like the true followers of Moses did. You You Muslims today, too many of you are Mu'tazila. Y'all got to fall back, like the prophet said, fall back upon La ilaha illallah. That's one of the pillars of faith, to accept the qadr of Allah, to accept that Allah is in control. You Muslims don't even believe that. Y'all believe that America and the Zionists are there the power, that they're in control. They're not. As Allah says, if every nation on this earth were to come together to harm you, they wouldn't be able to harm a hair on your body unless Allah allows it. And if they were to come together to benefit you, they wouldn't be able to benefit you at all unless Allah allowed that too. Do you brothers understand? You have to look at who you are hanging with. Who you brothers are taking your knowledge of Islam from. Y'all, this is a wake-up call from Allah. You Muslims, since the year 2000, many of you have been taking your knowledge of Islam from the wrong people, from the people that don't even believe it, that Allah is in control of this world. So Allah is telling you, change. Remember, when the Antichrist comes, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, he's a master manipulator, a master liar. He will come, and in one hand, he will have something that will appear to be good, but in reality it's evil. In the other hand, he will hold something that will appear to be bad, but it's good. The prophet said, if you live to see him come, choose what other people think is bad, because that bad is really the good. That's the state we are today. And before he comes, we'll have all these other false antichrists. You are living in the days of the Ruwaybida. These are the false antichrists, guys. The ones that come before him. They're calling you. They're holding in one hand beautiful words that sound like they're taking you to paradise. When in reality, the beautiful lectures, the beautiful speeches they're giving are taking you to hell, because the lectures and the speeches, no matter how beautiful they make them with their tongue, they contradict La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Y'all understand that? And then on the other hand, you got the loud people like Laila Nasheeba. The world wants you to think what she's saying is bad because she's obeying her Lord and making her voice loud. That's a good thing. The simple fact that she don't sound like no other woman on this internet should tell you she's the one that's right. Because Allah says it in the Quran, don't you dare speak publicly if you a woman unless you make that voice loud and you make it intimidating. If you're going to be a public, out in the public, don't be a public spectacle. Be intimidating, oh, you women who believe. I'm the truth. I am the truth. But y'all see the false, the Antichrist people amongst us today, the Ruwaybida, they got y'all thinking she's the evil one. Don't listen to her. Listen to this sister here, who's beautiful in her speech, who's eloquent, and who will stand up in front of you. And she'll give lectures in front of you. She'll make you laugh. She'll make you smile. She's so soft. That's the evil woman. So as y'all can see, these hadiths, the Prophet Muhammad taught us how to handle ourselves in these days that lead up to the last days. Y'all got to wake up. Stop being duped. Stop being stupid. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there will appear amongst you men who can work their tongue like a cow, eloquent in their speech, beautiful. They'll hypnotize you with their words. But it's nothing but witchcraft. They're selling you witchcraft. These are the days of the Ruway Bidat. Y'all better wake up, Muslims. Look at their behaviors. They can't accept the qadr of Allah. They are the fire worshipers. They're protesting. Against what? Against Allah brought this war. This war ain't going away. Y'all think that it's getting ready to be a peace treaty? Y'all out y'all mind. This is the beginning of what's going to lead to the end. It, like the prophet said, it will start there. Everything begins in Jerusalem. Everything will end in Jerusalem. It will start there and it will spread to the rest of the earth. So if y'all think that what's going on in Africa, because it's happening in Africa too, and Gaza's about to stop, y'all crazy. It ain't stopping. This is Allah keeping his words true. This is Allah once again proving to everyone that he is El Akbar, not these men that y'all follow who can't even handle themselves in hardship. They're doing what the prophet told them not to do in times of hardship. Do you brothers get it? I feel so sorry for you brothers because, like I said, I'm a woman. You know, ain't nobody going to listen to me because I'm a woman. Just like they didn't listen to Aisha, radiallahu anha. But it's just sad that I don't see any other male dying talking like me. And I can't, nothing I can do. That's one of the signs of the last hour. The men will become like women. They'll bury their head in the sand. And that's what we see. These brothers are all about subscribing to their YouTube channel. Most of these brothers ain't never worked a job in their life. So they depend on their subscribers to YouTube so they can make their money, make their $5,000 a month off of their million hits, million subscribers. So I can't help that. I don't know. Like I said, the brothers ain't speaking like they should. That's one of the signs. I'm just a woman, but I'm keeping it real. That's my job. Because I believe in Allah. I fear him. And I didn't choose this lifestyle for me. Allah chose it first and foremost. And my parents and community set me on this path when I was 6. So this is all I know is Islam. Islam is my life. This is all I know. Okay? This is all I've been doing since I was 12. Since I was 12 years old, giving dawah, teaching the people the meaning of these hadiths since I was 12. This is all I know. But for you brothers, all I can tell you is be careful. Most of these speakers are Mu'tazila. And you can recognize them by the simple fact that they reject the reality that Allah is in control, not the Zionists. Also, I want to share this hadith with all you brothers too who are panicking. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. He said, I asked Allah, when Allah shared with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knowledge as to what's going to happen in the years leading up to the last hour, Allah shared through the angel Jibril the knowledge of how our nation will divide, the knowledge as to how our nation will abandon the Sunnah, how we would take the Islamic rulings of man over the rulings of Allah and the rulings of the Prophet. When Allah shared all that knowledge with him, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, due to his love for his nation, for those of us living today, he said, my people, he got so scared for us. He became afraid for us. He said, oh Allah, my people. He said, can I make one dua? He said, oh Allah, do not allow my people to be destroyed with floods like you did the people of Noah, because they will abandon La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And he said, oh Allah, my people, don't allow them, please, my Lord. He said, don't allow them to be destroyed by their enemies. That's something that the prophet begged Allah. He said, don't allow my nation to be destroyed with a flood like you did Noah's people, because they will reject you and they will reject my sunnah. And don't allow my nation to be overpowered and destroyed by its enemies. Allah then sent the angel Jibril to him. And the angel Jibril said, oh Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your Lord said he will never destroy your people like he did Noah with a flood or anything like that. But your people, they will never be overpowered either by their enemy. He said, I will never allow the enemies of your people to destroy them. But instead, O Muhammad, the destruction of your people, the destruction of your nation will come from itself. Your people will oppress each other. Your people will divide into groups and kill each other. Your people will self-destruct itself. So the true believers, we know this stuff. How can you think that the power is in man and say you believe in Allah? And in that authentic hadith, and the source is Sahih Muslim, how can you think that all Muslims are getting ready to be destroyed and crushed by the Zionists? Allah promised that. He promised that we would never be overpowered and we will never be destroyed by our enemies. Our destruction will come from each other, like we're doing today, killing each other with our tongues, killing each other, fighting each other, separating, kafiring, innovating each other. So again, and if these brothers that y'all listen to were scholars like you think, they would know that hadith. That hadith is right there in Sahih Muslim. I learned that hadith when I was 10 years old. Mukhtar's father taught me that hadith. And Mukhtar's mother broke it down when I was 10 years old. So these brothers are not scholars of the deen. They don't even know that our demise won't come from Zionists. Our demise will not come from the Zionists. It'll come from ourselves. We'll oppress each other and fight each other and kill each other. Sad. So be careful who you brothers and sisters But especially you brothers who are approaching me with this, y'all got to be careful. I tell y'all, turn off the TV. Turn off YouTube. Stop listening to these famous celebrities. When I say celebrities, I mean Muslim celebrities. Stop watching those TikTok shorts that these famous men are putting out. Stop watching these TikTok shorts that these stupid, ignorant women are putting out. Stop watching TV and looking at the dead bodies. Stop watching this stuff. If it's messing with you mentally, it's messing with you spiritually. And instead, take faith in the fact that Allah promised we will never, ever be destroyed by our enemies. They don't have that power over us. We will survive. We will survive any war, any degradation that the non-Muslims try to do to us. It's the degradation that comes from each other that we got to worry about. It's when we Muslims start fighting each other that we have to worry about. Y'all understand that? Take comfort in that authentic hadith. All right, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. The class I'm going to hold tomorrow. I had to address this because I've got, like I say, two of the young new brothers are really freaking out over this stuff. And they're confused. Turn off YouTube. Stop listening to them brothers. I don't care how famous they are. These are the days of the false Messiah. These are the days of the Antichrist, the ones that come before the real one. What they're selling you appears to be truth, but it's falsehood. Do like the prophet said. Don't accept what they say. Don't be deluded by their tongues and their eloquent speeches and their trimmed beards. The fact that they got trimmed beards should tell you they ain't all about the Sunnah. You brothers got to open your eyes. Those women with the arched eyebrows. I tell you sisters all the time, how can a woman with arched eyebrows tell you anything about this deen when she has the curse of Allah on her? How can a man with trimmed beard tell you anything? How can a woman who ain't even wearing a khimar, who ain't wearing an abaya, tell you anything about this deen? How can a man dressed in a three-piece suit looking like a Zionist? He looks like a Zionist. He's sitting there with his beautiful diction, his trimmed beard, his little kufi on, and his three-piece suit and tie. And he's crying in the short. How can he tell you anything about Islam? Y'all better stop being so stupid. Look at his appearance. He's one of the Antichrists. One of the false ones. Y'all better wake up, women. Wake up, men. All right, I'm going to log out for right now. I made this because if Brother Ahmad is here, make shorts out of this. Make shorts out of this. I want good shorts that get right to the point of what I am saying. Brother Ahmad, make shorts out of this. So I'm going to log out, guys, but I'm coming right back because we got my cousin Mukhtar doing the life of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I wanted to just do this for these young brothers, okay? So give me about 5 seconds. I'm going to log out, then I'm logging back on. So look for the screen to come back. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I'm logging it out, Ahmad, then I'm coming right back. So you can